Have you gentlemen identified your essentials in relationships, like love, like not even, I won't even say relationships. I'll say, have you identified the essential, the three, if you could narrow it down just to just three things that are essential in a relationship for you, do you know what they are?
Mm, yeah, I believe so.
What about you, Bud?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty good. Should Am I going first?
Who wants to go first?
Like I said, he got it.
Shit.
He said shit.
For me, honesty, communication, and the third one's gonna sound weird if you guys need me to explain it. Is freedom,
Please
and
explain.
by freedom I mean, and this goes both ways, that you be free to do what you feel you need to do, with the understanding that me or my spouse is here to support. We're here to support each other. So if you tell me, even if it's something for me as strange as, hey, I want to start a taco truck. Even if I think you can't make good tacos, at least support it and be honest and communicate of and figure out like, okay, you don't make the best tacos, but you want to run a taco truck. How are you gonna do this? So that's what I mean by freedom.
Hmm,
Like,
that's dope. So honesty, freedom, and communication.
yeah,
G, what about you?
I would say loyalty, communication is huge. But the longer I get along in this thing, like the older I get, I would say communication is so fucking key, bro. Like y'all gotta be able to talk. And that's why, like, the younger you go, it gets worse because I remember back when I was young and I was terrible at communication. I'm not about to take those back. I'm not about to turn around and do that shit all over again. I know people at 22 can't communicate.
Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit.
And then consistency, man. I would say
Loyalty, communication, consistency. Godly.
consistency, man. Lean
Damn.
in
Okay.
is a close. Might be tied at
Fourth.
three.
Okay. Lean
Tied at
lean in
three.
and lean in consistency.
Yeah,
Okay.
you gotta lean in relationships, man. Because the moment somebody gotta pull you along, bro, that shit over with.
Hmm.
oh,
Hmm.
that's a good
Okay.
one.
That's impressive. Both answers. I had I just uncovered this last night, so it's not too far removed from like thought, and I had a night to sleep on it, and I still kind of feel the same way. Um, Respect, the ability to listen to the other person, and then a passion. And so working backwards, I had passion solely because for whatever reason, I've tried to do the relationships where the other party isn't as passionate about something, and somehow it impacts the communication somehow, some way, like something is misinterpreted some way, and I'm kind of thrown about it until I go, oh shit, we don't even bond over the base of having a passion. Like that's important, and don't have to be. I think people always confuse that with it being art or creative. Like fuck that. Like that. No. Like what do you have anything you're passionate about? I don't care what it is. I feel like there's a universal language in just being passionate about something, and then the ability to listen is part of that communication thing for me, where
Hmm.
I just realized this about myself. I need something a little bit more specific. And communication for a really long time just felt so open ended. I wasn't sure what people meant. It's like, also, I need to explain myself better. And then what it came down to for me is like, no, I need to learn how to listen better. Because
Ooh,
I wasn't listening for a really long time. And so I was still taking shit personal. But if you slow down and you listen to what people are saying, bro, that shit don't even be about you.
at
So
all.
then it just allows you to really show up for that person if you really listening. But if you listening just to respond, or if you listening just to win the argument, my nigga, you not gonna ever hear what that other person is saying to you. So it's just gonna be hella just these moments of taking shit personal, where the person, even if it's like displaced a little bit and like off kilter, if you really slow down and be present, you can hit like, oh man, she tripping. Nah, she not tripping, nigga. She's expressing something that she don't really know how to say just yet. So show up for real and don't just stop at, oh, you tripping on me today, because it usually don't be that. And that is
Mm.
it's a really hard lesson to learn, but a lesson indeed. um, and then the respect aspect, I think the respect sort of offset, or this the respect, the other two categories are so dependent upon the respect factor. um, and it's and I need to get a little bit more specific about what that means too, but for what I have so far is that the respect, um, respect just so holds a requirement of wanting to show up and wanting to carry my weight to the point to where I've got it proportionate enough to where if I need to pick you up too, it's cool, but it doesn't impact your status or where I see you at, right? You just down for a minute, but I respect you so much that I'm still showing up, I'm still present, and I know you're gonna bounce back better than ever. So now we rock it, right? We're stronger than ever, you know. So now I had to love essentials. I thought that was pretty tight. Uh, can we identify them, and how, what kind of dialogue can we have in and around them? So I appreciate y'all for sharing that shit. That was pretty tight. I wanted to
Sure.
ask that. I wanted to ask
Can
that
we
immediately.
can we have a wilder turn to that
Hmm.
of like responsibility on like
Hmm.
on like the male side,
Hmm. Hmm.
uh, on like the respect factor, right? Just for like men in general,
Hmm.
how important respect is
In
in
our
in
language, our
in
love
our
language.
language. Period. Yeah.
Hmm.
So think about over time, right? And how terrible the lessons were that we've learned over the years when it comes to how to respect women, right? And then uh, the idea that you can be in a relationship, but uh, step outside of the relationship, which then would garner less respect the more and more it happens, right? To the point where the only argument that you have coming back is that you feel disrespected.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, why is your lady constantly disrespecting you? And
Man.
it's like, bro, do you not pick up on any of the shit that I've had to go through throughout this? Like, you think that respect is something that should just be given, regardless of
Yes.
like what is actually taking place in real time.
In real time.
So, yeah, so that was, I was just thinking like if that was like a,
No, that's the way to narrow. Again, G, I needed help in narrowing down what that meant, and you hit it immediately. Like the pantheon in which respect is held in the male importance of communication, for whatever reason, respect is hella high, and not so much like give me my respect, but the terrain I offer shit that I respect. Like certain shit that I respect as a man gets so much terrain and so much of my effort to understand that thing's perspective, importance, and position. Like I'm not going to start by questioning something I respect. I'm going to start by exploring something I respect. And questioning
mm,
and exploring is two different things.
mm,
Questioning is written in some defense, some disdain, a little bit of disdain, and a little bit of unwillingness to bend and be agile, both emotionally and mentally. Um,
mm,
whereas exploration, I'm just open. I'm open. I'm open to being wrong. I'm open to like even if I'm kind of right, going to figure out why that was right. Because 9 times out of 10, we don't even really know. And then there's always something beyond being right too. There's a follow up to that, and there's a responsibility to continue to show up. And to your point, respect is like nigga, you're not just given that, and then once you get it, it's something you have to be able to sustain. And in order to be able to sustain it, you got to do a lot of fucking work, bro. especially on the behalf of, if we're, and this is totally from a hetero standpoint, and like, yo, like men and women, like, yo, women, like especially women, like the shit that they respect, and how, at least from my estimation, how it works, a lot of it just is the ability to showcase effort, and to your point, consistency. G, like that consistency shit is such a big component that so few people really lean on. Like you get the running joke is, y'all get the girl and stop doing the work. It's like, nigga, everything you did to get her, you got to do to keep her, and then
Mm-hmm.
some, and grow in that character, not diminish. Like a lot of
Mm-hmm.
niggas diminish in that character. No, 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 no. Let's turn it up. So
Right. Exactly. Exactly. I think for some reason the whole it gets lost in like the whole king and queen shit. Um, like what actual kings and queens were. You know what I mean? Like I
mhm,
think people kind of get way too lost in the idea of kings and queens, because in a
mhm,
king and queen relationship, it meant that you do whatever for the king, um, and you sit downside, next to whatever. But there's a step further that should be also explored too, where there's a need to hold up the queen. Uh, there should be no disrespect in that factor either. In order for them to be operating at maximum capacity, to then
mhm,
do what needs to be done in that role, to help out where the king is. You know what I mean?
mhm,
Like, how do you think that you can go away from uh, the responsibilities that you have and still receive the full capacity
facts,
support,
facts,
from the family. You know what I mean?
facts.
Like the whole no one wins on a family feuds deal. Like that's literally from someone not holding up their side of the bargain,
That's it.
and therefore the entire establishment crumbles.
Mm,
And there's a lot more that goes into it, and it is work.
yeah,
But if we're in this mind state where of like having to do things and enjoying the process, this should be any different. Like this is
pure
it's
effort,
all
pure
it's
effort.
all a part of process. Yeah, exactly.